Hi, this is a short presentation of our new Web Designer CRM. Web Designer CRM has all the options you might expect from a full-fledged business CRM and then some. I can explain all the areas in this short presentation, but I would like to take you and show you most of them to inspire you and anticipate when you have your evaluation. Some areas are unique to the industry of web design and web development. So let's start with the marketing area. First, we're going to enter into the system by clicking Enter, Continue. In this particular case, it goes to the simpler level. There are 3 levels, from simpler to advanced to expert. So you're gonna choose whatever fits you better. I'm gonna do my presentation mostly from the simpler view, from the simpler level, but knowing that there are other levels. So this is the simpler level, where we can have the basic entry for contacts with notes, unlimited notes, history, unlimited ability to link documents, and etc. With the task manager in the simpler view, the user-defined fields in simpler view, and then the groups in simpler view. Again, I'm going to repeat myself probably a couple of times over this presentation and not going to teach or train. This is just an overview showing features, showing areas that you can have, that you can use, that you can benefit from. So I'm gonna go to the menu, and from here, just momentarily, I'm gonna go to the advanced level by clicking the levels. Advanced level, which you see it has more fields, more icons, more options, etc., etc. And then I'm gonna go to the expert level. Not to overwhelm you, at the contrary, to show you how powerful this can be when you're an expert and you will be able to handle all your business from one screen. So let's go back to the simpler level now, okay, and go to the menu. So as I said, we're going to start by showing a little bit the marketing capabilities. And we have here, we have 3 levels always here of simple, advanced, and expert, in the sense of how complex are these areas, or how powerful they are too. Not necessarily they are difficult, but they are powerful in its own right. So this is a postcard creator, very simple to use, and this is to create, as the name implies, postcards or business cards. From here, I'm not going to show you again how it works. That will be part of other videos. And then we have a business lead finder that would allow you to find any leads on any industry, like for example, whatever, attorneys, anything actually, any industry can be found and then can be imported into the system. Going back, we have an autoresponder system. This is a very powerful area. There are many options, as you can see here, but let's go straight. And here you can have unlimited autoresponders. And for example, let's say, and I'm not gonna teach anything, but I want to show a feature. So I'm gonna put test, and here I can go and find templates that can be assigned, and then potentially either duplicated or other ones can be added, unlimited. And another, so for example, let's say that you want to assign a letter. I'm going to assign this letter to this first step, and then the feature that I want to point out is that you have the ability to send 3 different emails to the 3 levels of affiliates up, and the data obviously will be merged as appropriate, etc., etc. And also you can duplicate. These are interesting features that you should take into account. So if I want to duplicate this every 8 days, I can put 8 days here and duplicate 20 times, and that will be extremely simple. And then I can switch back and start this one with 0. There are many things that you can do with this autoresponder because it's contact centric and not autoresponder centric. In other words, autoresponders are assigned to autoresponders are assigned to contacts as opposed to contacts to autoresponder, which is what happens in all other autoresponders. That way we can find very easily selections or groups from contacts that would be almost impossible to do with any other system. Okay, so going back, we have SMS messages, so we have the ability to send text messages, and we can have snippets. We can have unlimited snippets, so we can have text messages or voice messages that also can be personalized, and you can send to one or many contacts. In other levels, this is actually even to a point, to be honest, nicer, because you're seeing all the contacts at the same time that you see this. But this is a simple level, so we divide this thing in chunks in order to make it easy for you. We also have a live system, live SMS, that allow you to essentially to receive messages and to also have workflows. So you can have workflows for messages that will be triggered with a word. Let's say a word like more information. That's 2 words, but more information or simply information, and the program can trigger workflows in response to that. I'm gonna put here test so you can see the screen. As a matter of fact, you can trigger up to 4 workflows with 1 word. Again, showing features, not functionality. We have here Amazon Web Services campaign stats. So this is the program has a system to deal with Amazon Web Services. This is a functionality that is very powerful, but at the same time is not trivial. You can send up to 200,000 emails per day with this system, and then the program can classify by delivered, bounced, complaints, unsubscribed, viewed, etc. Okay. So we have a workflow system, right? So we have a workflow system, and the workflow here, this is also very special. We can create a workflow now, and we have different type of actions, like tasks or task groups, or emails or autoresponders or SMS, or you can even open your URLs for webhooks, etc., put notes, and have other actions, and it gets color coded. So for example, if we want to clear the main status, you see it becomes blue because we have that. And if this one had, for example, an additional condition to be triggered that it was on a weekend, it becomes green. If it has both, then it becomes red. So it's very easy as opposed to other workflow systems to program this, and with unlimited steps, and assign it to agents, etc., etc. This is a very powerful workflow system, and I'm sure that you will enjoy if you are a little bit computer literate. Then let me show you. We have a domain manager, which obviously is of the essence for a web designer or web developer. It's of the essence because here you can have unlimited domains. So you can control, let's put it that way, unlimited domains, and you can control all the aspects of the domain that goes from nodes or having URL for images or the data of MySQL, DNS info, emails, FTP, WordPress, RDP, etc., etc. Here you can have unlimited fields that you can enter. You can even select the labels of these fields and set them up with one click. So potentially, if you have an industry that requires to have 20 specific fields, they can be set up with one click. With a new, after you do the first one, and you do the setup, it can be the next ones can be set up with one click. You can have data of the registrar, hosting company, control panels, login, initial. You can link it to contact, which is very valuable because you can enter from a client and select automatically all the domains that belong to that client without searching or doing anything. It will select. You have a special the list of domains and a special task manager specifically to the domain manager. Also, we have a website manager, and this one you can have unlimited domains with FTP, so you can use it to post pages, and then you can go to the let me assign here, for example, test.com, like a domain, and then you can go and have all the pages here, and you can post those pages even to many domains with one click, because they are linked to the domain, so the pages can be posted with one click. And also you can have automatically and at random assign titles, description, or keywords. So that means that and even codes that can be assigned. So in other words, you can do you can randomize even your pages, and that will be useful for SEO with Google, because they will see differences. So you can essentially press one button and randomize all your pages, and every day if you want to, and Google will see that as will interpret that as you're very active in your website. So here we have a Facebook post scheduler, and this one, what it does is essentially post to Facebook, right? And I don't know if I have here, I don't have an account here. This area requires the creation of an API, and so basically you can add text, links, images, or even videos to your Facebook account or any other Facebook account. Again, this one requires the creation of an API that we might have to do for you, because there are a lot of permissions that have to be asked from Facebook, and have to be approved, etc. But it's very, very powerful, and it will, so you can put it recurrent, which is something that I never seen in other systems. So you can put a recurrent post of any kind, and say, for example, well, I want every 2 hours, or every 2 days, or every weeks, or even minutes, and then you can say how many times you want, and they will be triggered automatically and at this interval. And if you have this option on, I mean, you can have it off, but if you have it on, it will delete the previous one, so that way you are not spamming with the same data. And also the system has a spinning system that is explained here in the tooltip, so you can spawn the text messages and make them different automatically each and every time. Also we have Twitter post scheduler. This one fortunately is simpler in the sense of accounts. You simply have your username and password, and the program automatically gets the tokens, necessary tokens, etc., to post Twitters. And well, it's the same thing in the sense of like the Facebook account. You can create a tweet, assign it to an account. I didn't put a name to the account, so I'm gonna do it now. So you can have the recurrency the same, and you can put post automatically or manually. You can send a post you want to do just by typing, or can be automated every so often if you put here. And the important thing here, in addition to the recurrency, is the ability that you can have to control accounts from other people. So in other words, you can perform this work for other people and be paid for it. And so it can be a business in itself. You can do that with the Facebook, and you can do that with a Twitter account. Okay, so we saw that. Now we're gonna see the finance area. There are certain things that you cannot do from this area. One of them is the bank, for example, the bank manager. I'm gonna show it to you in a second, that we can do it from the advanced or the expert. But still, we have the accounts receivable, where we can control all kind of payments. All kind of payments, even recurrent payments. We have payment plans, so you can have unlimited payment plans that you create, and in other words, that will be triggered just by clicking insert payment plan very easily. And or even you can have shortcuts to trigger those plans. You can have workflows that will be triggered automatically at a certain numbers of declines, and that will trigger any actions that you want, like sending an email to the client, advising, or maybe tasks to your agents. So many things. So you can charge with several gateways, Authorize.net, NMI, Commerce, and a couple others. And you can also do electronic checks with Green Cloud, and also you can do check drafts. So in other words, you can print checks that you can deposit into your account without your client's signature. It's like a checks by fax, checks by phone, and many other things, filter reports, etc., groups, all sort of things. And also the program can trigger automatically, can trigger commissions, and those commissions, will go to the payables eventually to be paid probably with a check. So we have the accounts payable too. Then we have the accounts payable. Pretty similar to the account receivable, but the opposite, right? So it's like where your affiliates or whoever is going to receive, for example, for a payroll. That would be the example, and you can create a check to pay for that, or many checks, or you can select, for example, groups. If you want to pay commissions to your affiliates only after they make $100 or more, for example, you can put 100 here, click, and then automatically will select the list, and then you can produce those checks automatically. With one click, actually. So the commissions will enter automatically, but you can use this area for any payable, whether it is for an affiliate or otherwise, be an employee or any other case. Then we have an invoice system. This is a very powerful invoice system that works with products, like would be this case, or services. So if I add one here, I'm gonna leave this one as product, but I'm gonna add another one, and I'm gonna select services. By the way, it's possible to create unlimited emails with unlimited invoices with one click for a group of contacts. So in case that you create invoices every month for the same reason. For example, that could be your hosting services, or any other reason. You can have partial payments. You can still trigger a workflow. You can still charge with a credit card or an ACH. You can have private notes. You can track marketing campaigns. You have all sort of utilities. You can have recurrent invoices and many more things. You can see all the invoices from a client here. You can do searches that can be pretty complex, or have even groups specific to invoices. So this is a very powerful area. There are also links to products and inventory. So you can have here a very powerful products and inventory. You can have prices. You can have hidden information about your provider, etc., etc. And so many things that can be done. So you know the minimums, etc. here, and you can view catalogs, even print catalogs, or have reports. So again, this is an area that is not to be explained on this video, but is so you know that it exists. I mentioned before the banks and checks manager, which is a way to manage your banks, and also to print even blank checks, etc. But let me go first here. So this is a credit card manager. So this is where you set up your sorry for the beep. Here you can enter up to 5 credit cards for each client. Okay, so some clients maybe a card decline, and now actually if you have several credit cards active, they will rotate automatically when you charge your client. Then we have the merchant manager. That is where you enter your information related to credit cards. So you enter your login, transaction key, etc. From there. Then we have a financial desktop where you can have any period and see with a couple of clicks you can see all your receivables and forecast, etc. Banks, everything can be seen from this financial dashboard. Opportunity analyzer, as the name implies, well, you can have here unlimited opportunities and analyze them, and it can be so you can see from other agents, etc. Is very useful area. And then we have a debt reduction analyzer, budget center, amortization loan center. Again, well, these things are more or less what you should expect in terms of having a budget or loans. And the debt reduction analyzer is an extremely powerful area to control your debts. Potentially you can do it for others too if you want, but this is to control all your debts and to pay them faster. It's a very powerful area, a little bit on the scary side because it's really has a lot of functionality, so many things. Before going to the miscellaneous, I would like to go for a second into the advanced view to just to see the banks and in the finance here. Well, we have a menu also, but in the here we can see the bank and check manager, and essentially from here you can print checks to someone, from someone, or to someone. And well, control all those checks, and then potentially go to the banks area here, and here you can control unlimited bank accounts and credit card accounts, etc. So I enter one here, but you can enter as many as you want to control loans, and then you have a register area. in this register area, you have also the ability to enter. Certain things are going to be entered automatically, like things from invoices or payments from invoices or receivables, etc. But eventually you're going to have to reconcile in the reconciliation system. So it has accounting capabilities as well, so pretty much everything that your business will need. Then going to the miscellaneous, we have an agenda, and I don't want to kind of take time on simpler things at Agent Task Scheduler, which is essentially an area to control tasks that are for an agent, not for a contact. And it's not a task, like for example, it's not a specific task that you may have to do. And then you can have it with recurrency and stuff like that. Okay, so you can assign it to other people, and then you can have it recurrent. We have a knowledge database. This is really useful to handle. You can have unlimited categories. Okay, and inside this category you can have unlimited issues, unlimited topics, as we call it here. And so you can encrypt them, etc., etc. The fine capabilities of this program is very special, to be honest. We have an instant messenger. This is to communicate, potentially if you have a network, is to communicate with other agents and with other agents, and well, so you can have snippets and all kind of things that will make it pretty unique when talking about instant messengers. Then we have a link document manager, also very easy to use and very useful in many occasions. Link document manager. Miscellaneous tools. This is absolutely very important. Very important. For example, I'm not going to go over any of these, but just to give you a tip, we can see here, for example, extract emails from any data that you have in the clipboard, and then add or select contacts. So potentially you can have a list from whatever that you gotten from the internet or otherwise any other place, and then put it on your clipboard with Control A, Control C, and then just clicking this button, you can add or select. You can add or select. If you're gonna add, basically you're saying, well, check if the email is in the contact, and if it's not, add it. And that way it will be added, and is going to be selected afterwards, all of them, so you can do something about them, maybe call them, maybe send a campaign or something. But this is just one of the many features in that area, only that it's impossible to explain them all. Then we have a parsing system that can be used to extract data from forms in the email system, and also from regular lists. So, and then assign data like auto messengers, groups, sales source, or all kind of data, groups, etc., automatically to so it's to create records based on data, and then assign a bunch of parameters automatically. We have a password manager, password and license manager to control basically all your passwords. We have a password generator, and you can put them encrypted, and usually only the administrator enters this area to have a record of every password that you may have. This is in addition, obviously, to the specific passwords for other areas like domain manager. This is for other kind of passwords. You can have your Facebook password, your Twitter password, but personally we have close to 1,000 passwords here, so you can imagine that there are many things, a password that you have for software, licenses, etc. Then we have a virtual desktop manager. This is a kind of a enhancement for Windows the Windows desktop, because it allows you not only to see very clearly, but most importantly do a find and also have groups. So for example, I want to see all the graphic stuff, I can click graphics and find them immediately, or I can see the essential things, and again I can find data just including the data inside. You cannot do that in Windows. In Windows you can only search barely for the first letter, and that is obviously important. Now let's go to emails. We have many options here, but I'm gonna show you just the email area. So we can go to the email area and automatically all the emails sent and received from a client. So you can send and receive emails from unlimited accounts. Okay, all the emails will be selected automatically, and vice versa. You can have an email and click go to contact, and one or many, you can select several emails and go to contact, and all the contacts that match those emails will be selected automatically, or you can select emails related to a particular email that you are on. You can have searches and save the shortcut, so you can have the same searches. You can have you can control spamming. There are ways in the system, ways to control spamming, etc., etc. So yeah, this is a kind of a very thorough, very special. You have a rule manager inside, and the rule manager essentially is a way to identify an email, and once you identify that email you can do a bunch of things like assigning an autoresponder, or sending a reply with a template, or changing colors, or essentially assign it to an agent, or do a round robin for salespeople, or even the gold mine of assigning a workflow based on an email, and then you can have 1,000 tasks. I mean 1,000 actions just with receiving an email, all that automated. And also the same thing with the parsing system, so you can have that we showed before, and that parsing can be triggered, as you can see here, can be triggered and automatically, even with HTML. So can see the HTML code or the text code, and practically create a record in the system based on the parsing logistic of the extraction of the data. And here can be identify the email by the from, the to field, the contact field, and even the message field, including with Boolean logic. So kind of a very powerful stuff. And we have the setup. Setup is actually very interesting, even though sometimes it's boring. And but you have, for example, the ability to assign which areas are accessible to an agent. What fields cannot be empty, or cannot be modified, or cannot be modified unless empty, or even you can put in invisible fields, and many other things. Obviously here's where you control the times, or the timer, if you will, of the different areas, like sending emails, receiving tasks, or responders, SMS messages, etc., etc. You control everything here. Also, we have the company information. Well, this is just where you enter your company information. You can have unlimited companies. You only need to change them here if you want to, etc., etc. You enter the data for well, for many things, for your ring fax or e-fax, or in order to send faxes from directly from the system, or receive. Well, receive faxes is no problem without that either, but to send, yes, you need to have that set up. We have a very powerful import and export system. Probably this is one of the few systems that you can do a total backup with one click. And so basically here you can do a one-click backup, but also you can import and have set up to 5 mapping fields. So in other words, that if you're buying from 2 people, from 2 companies, you're buying lists, then you can set up the mapping of those fields and then have them select automatically for the next time, so you don't have to waste the time setting up the mapping fields, because you have up to 5 that automatically, and you can import from many formats, and obviously the usual ones too, that Excel also, Excel workflow and CSV, etc. Plus you can have automatic backups, etc., etc. So you can change the groups. You can change the groups and field labels of here. For example, this is for the user-defined groups, so you can set up your own groups, and the same for the user-defined fields, and even for the invoices, and also for the special action buttons that will trigger many things, can trigger automatically, from a phone to the ability to find a contact to the ability to open a URL. It can do too many things to explain in this short overview. Well, print to set up or get support, those are kind of here we have the templates. We went to the context before. Well, by the way, the context, we can go to the contact or see the menu of the contact to see reports, or to see them as a list, because so far you have seen them as a form, as a full form, which is, by the way, is better, because you're seeing all the data of the client, or most of it, and but here you can also see them as a list, and it will be possible to, for example, sort, find, use the first letters of first name, last name, companies, do many things, sort them, and ultimately go to the one you want just with one click. And then you do what you want to do, like sending a template, an email with a template, or just a regular email, or going to their website, for example. So that's that. And then you have also a list selectable fields. You have many lists, but these ones are just for the simpler view, or you can change these, for example, or let me put here full name, boom. Now you have the full name, etc. So you select the ones that you want, and it's nice to, very easy to see, and then go to the one you want. Sometimes you want to search for a particular field. Right now, let me go back to the menu. We have an interesting way to compare context. For example, let's say that right now I'm going to compare these two. These two they don't make sense to compare, obviously, because they are not a variation of anyone. But that's why you see them, all of these, in yellow, because it's telling you that it's different. So if I determine that, for example, the name is wrong, you see I can put the name here, but this one becomes blank. So all the yellows is very easy to compare two records, and then produce an update and delete. Update of this one, delete of that one, or update and preserve both, or simply not update, which is what I'm gonna do right now. Not update. And then we can find duplicate. This is another thing that is extremely useful, as opposed to you having to put John Smith or something, which is totally useless. You just click, and you have a lot of options I cannot move this into the video. I mean, this screen is overlapping the video, but I take my word for it when I say that I click the current. So in this case, I'm checking if this one, Andrew Festermeyer, has a duplicate. So automatically it's going to look into all phone numbers, it's going to look into the URLs, it's going to look into the emails, which are the only things that are at the end of the day unique. So if I say yes, regular, or even by ID, I can do it. In this case, selected just one, so basically no duplicates. This area I cannot show, but because it is well, it needs to have some kind of a setup, but it's the ability to post to your own place on the internet. You can post the selection of clients that you have here, so you can upload them, and that way if you're going to visit some people, or you want to send it to an agent, whatever, you can send those group into a portal. Okay, so you can do that into a portal and post them, and you can make modifications and then download those modifications at the end of the day, and you can email, and you can do mappings, and you can even phone from your iPhone or Android to the people. So it's like having it's called visual context, because you're gonna post the group of contacts. Then we have here the template manager. So the template manager, essentially, so you have unlimited categories, and inside each category you can have unlimited pages, right? Unlimited pages. Well, this is in PHP, it's not gonna show. You can have unlimited pages, and basically you have merge fields that you can use for contacts, agents, company, and extra. And you can have essentially unlimited fields, because they can come from the documents tab of the client. So you can create your own fields, and they will be merged. So let's say that your industry needs for letters, let's say 10 fields that is not available in the main fields. You can create those fields in the documents fields, and then you can merge the data in the template, which is pretty unique. You can even you can do many things here. As you can imagine, we have shortcuts, formats, and also the ability to even post those templates as pages into your website. Okay, so that is really special, and that can serve you to many. For example, one of the important things is that you may want to have a very long explanation, like you have a very long explanation for a client on an email, and then you can post that to your own website with this, essentially one click, and then you do this one with one click, and then you give the link to your client that way in an email. So that way it's not going to be taken as spam, because it's long and it has a bunch of interesting things that you want to say, but it's long, and then you're going to do it that way. So there are many things here that goes beyond this presentation, related to splash pages or pixel link builder, etc. In essence, I want to show you just really briefly the expert view, the expert level. Okay, so from here we can see everything. We have total control on assignments, navigation, groups, the notes, history, documents, emails that you can see, plus you can see them obviously in the email system, invoices. You can have a portal also available for your clients. You can have the opportunities here, the list, user-defined groups, which also you have here, but here you have it like an expansion, and even you can go to user-defined fields using defined groups, sorry, using defined groups in this layout different, so you have more, because you can have hundreds potentially. And here the ability of this is that you can control everything. We have some areas here not available anywhere else. For example, the telemarketing is available in the advanced, but is not available in the system. You can have up to 15 scripts, and you can modify it. 15 active. You can have unlimited scripts, but you can have 15 active. You can have a purchase manager. Purchase manager is very useful when you buy things and you want to control. I mean, when you're gonna receive them. That is kind of important. When it's due, what is it, how much it costs, from which website, how do you pay it, what is the credit card, how much you pay for it. So that way automatically you know when you enter which ones are due, and well, you can keep track of so many things that we buy these days. And we have an FAQ system, and to be honest, many other things that are YouTube Video Manager, for example. There are many things here that the survey system, etc., that you will need to explore one by one. I'm entering into the YouTube Manager because, well, it's a little bit more kind of important, so you can control the data you have on each video in YouTube, and basically you can search, so you can know what is in your hard drive and where is the URL in YouTube, so you can use it for marketing purposes or simply to control. We have a much more developed task manager in this system with task groups, etc. So basically that's all. This is had been longer than I expected, to be honest, and but that can give you an idea, and I cover probably 80% just entering into the different data without explaining, but I can tell you what this program can do for you only if you consider the domain manager, the actual power of the context database, the CRM, which is pretty unique, the finding features, etc. And there's only the domain and the web uploaded, and the Facebook and the Twitter and all the email capabilities and workflows, autoresponders, etc. can be really powerful for your marketing campaigns, and everything centralized. You avoid data duplication, and you avoid also paying twice for the same for different systems that you need to work in tandem and without the right capabilities. So thank you, and see you on the other side when you go to webdesignercrm.com. webdesignercrm.com. Thank you.